A fresh wave of controversy is now surrounding Erika Kirk as new discussions, claims, and online speculation continue to build around her recent public and political activity. Over the last several months, Erika has remained at the center of attention following the tragic death of her husband, while simultaneously becoming increasingly connected to major political conversations and organizational leadership. Questions are now surfacing about how Charlie Kirk's public image, recorded statements, political influence, and past endorsements are being referenced across multiple campaigns, and whether the growing use of his legacy raises legal, ethical, or political concerns. Critics argue that what began as public remembrance has slowly transformed into something far more strategic, with Charlie Kirk's name appearing repeatedly in campaign messaging, advertisements, and political branding efforts stretching across several states. At the center of the debate is the growing concern over who controls and authorizes the use of Charlie Kirk's public identity. Political observers have begun pointing toward a much larger machine operating behind the scenes, one that appears deeply connected to fundraising, endorsements, campaign influence, and voter messaging. Some analysts claim that millions of dollars in advertising have benefited from the continued public presence of Charlie Kirk's speeches, clips, and political reputation, creating a complicated discussion around permission, authenticity, and accountability. While supporters see this as honoring a political figure's legacy, critics argue that the boundaries become far less clear when a public figure is no longer alive to directly confirm how their image or statements are being used. Recent political developments in states like Kentucky, Arizona, Iowa, and Texas have only added more fuel to the conversation. Campaigns have increasingly leaned on Charlie Kirk's previous remarks, archived interviews, and old public appearances to strengthen political messaging and connect with conservative audiences. According to some political strategists, the scarcity of real, confirmed endorsements from Charlie Kirk has made them especially valuable, increasing public interest around who controls access to his political legacy and how that influence continues to shape primary races. The result has been a flood of commentary online, with supporters defending the practice as politically normal while critics question whether legal guidelines involving campaign coordination, disclosures, or public representation are being tested in unfamiliar ways. One example repeatedly discussed involves campaign advertisements that featured older clips of Charlie Kirk praising political figures in entirely different contexts, only for those clips to later appear in broader campaign messaging. That has opened the door to accusations that past statements may be reframed or repurposed in ways that viewers could interpret differently than originally intended. Critics believe this creates confusion over whether praise delivered in one setting should automatically be interpreted as a direct endorsement in another, especially in highly competitive political races where messaging can influence voter trust. At the same time, Erika Kirk herself has remained relatively quiet on many of these growing concerns, which has only intensified online speculation. For some critics, the silence raises additional questions about transparency and oversight. For supporters, however, it reflects someone navigating grief, public pressure, and organizational responsibility at the same time. Either way, the controversy continues to expand as commentators, political insiders, and media personalities debate where political branding ends and legal responsibility begins. With campaign spending rising and public attention growing, many believe the story is far from over, especially as discussions surrounding campaign law, consent, political messaging, and authenticity continue to dominate headlines. As these campaign clips continue circulating online and across conservative media networks, critics are beginning to argue that the entire operation is starting to blur the distinction between ordinary political messaging and something far more coordinated behind the scenes. The conversation intensified after Turning Point USA figures publicly celebrated the distribution of Charlie Kirk content as a major political asset, with many observers questioning who exactly has the authority to package, approve, and redistribute statements from someone who is no longer alive to confirm their intent. According to critics, once archived footage, past interviews, and old praise clips are transformed into active campaign material, the legal and ethical questions become impossible to ignore. Supporters may may frame it as preserving a legacy, but opponents argue it increasingly resembles a carefully managed political brand being monetized in real time. What especially stands out to many commentators is that almost nobody within these political circles appears willing to publicly challenge the process itself. Very few people are openly asking who authorized the use of specific recordings, who approved the messaging strategy, or whether there are limits to how a deceased public figure's words can be politically repurposed. That silence has fueled a growing narrative online that Charlie Kirk's image, reputation, and influence have effectively become political currency, with Erika Kirk positioned at the center of controlling how and where that currency is spent. Critics describe it as a system where his name continues generating political value long after his death, while supporters insist it is simply a continuation of the mission and movement he built during his lifetime. At the same time, Erika Kirk's public presence has expanded dramatically in the months following Charlie's death. She has appeared at numerous conservative events, conferences, speaking engagements, and organizational functions, often delivering speeches focused on preserving Charlie's vision and continuing the work associated with Turning Point USA. Detractors claim the transition of power happened with unusual speed, pointing to rapid leadership decisions, messaging shifts, fundraising efforts, and public appearances that made it appear as though succession plans were already firmly established long before the public fully understood what was happening behind closed doors. Supporters, however, argue that contingency planning inside major organizations is entirely normal, especially. Adding even more controversy are repeated claims that Charlie Kirk had personally selected Erika as the person who should take over leadership responsibilities if anything ever happened to him. Statements from insiders and associates have fueled that narrative, with some insisting Charlie discussed succession planning privately with executives and board members due to ongoing security concerns and political pressure. Yet critics remain unconvinced, arguing that edited clips and secondhand statements are not enough to settle questions this serious. Some commentators and media personalities have even called for complete, unedited recordings and documentation to be released publicly, claiming that selective audio snippets only deepen public suspicion rather than eliminate it. The situation has become even more chaotic because of the constant stream of online leaks, counterclaims, rumors, and behind-the-scenes allegations spreading across social media and political commentary channels. Entire video series, podcasts, and online investigations have emerged attempting to dissect every statement, timeline detail, leadership move, and organizational decision connected to Erika Kirk and Turning Point USA. As more people search for answers, the controversy continues feeding itself, with every new clip or insider allegation generating another wave of speculation. Critics say the public keeps hearing fragments of explanations without ever receiving complete transparency, while supporters dismiss much of the outrage as politically motivated attacks amplified for clicks and engagement. Despite all the growing noise surrounding the situation, Turning Point USA continues operating aggressively, expanding messaging campaigns, pushing political influence efforts, and maintaining strong visibility within conservative media spaces. Fundraising, endorsements, event appearances, and campaign collaborations have shown little sign of slowing down. To critics, that reinforces the perception that political momentum and financial opportunity are taking priority over public accountability. To supporters, it simply proves the organization remains focused on advancing its mission regardless of controversy. Either way, the debate surrounding Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's legacy, and the broader political machinery connected to both appears far from finished. The advertisement shifted into a sponsored healthcare segment, promoting a Medicare advisory service designed to help seniors compare insurance plans and lower healthcare expenses. The pitch focused heavily on simplifying what many people see as an overly confusing system, arguing that older Americans are often overwhelmed by endless plan options, spam calls, and conflicting information. According to the segment, the service works by comparing doctors, medications, coverage priorities, and personal healthcare needs in order to match people with plans that better fit their situation. It also claimed that many seniors who switched plans through the program reportedly saved significant amounts of money on medical costs over the past year. The ad encouraged viewers approaching retirement age or already enrolled in Medicare to call a dedicated hotline for assistance, emphasizing that the consultation process was free and relatively quick. After the sponsorship break, the focus returned sharply to politics, specifically surrounding Congressman Thomas Massie and his complicated relationship with the broader conservative establishment. Commentators pointed out that Charlie Kirk had repeatedly spoken positively about Massie over the years, publicly praising him as one of the few politicians who genuinely valued constitutional principles, individual liberty, and government accountability. Charlie often described Massie as one of his favorite members of Congress, highlighting his willingness to challenge intelligence agencies and resist establishment pressure inside Washington. Many observers also noted that Massie's foreign policy positions, especially his criticism of foreign influence groups, military intervention, and outside lobbying money, aligned closely with views Charlie Kirk himself had sometimes echoed publicly. That connection is what made recent political developments feel especially significant to critics. Despite Charlie Kirk's history of publicly supporting Massie, Turning Point USA reportedly stayed silent during Massie's difficult primary battle. According to critics, this silence stood in stark contrast to the organization's willingness to aggressively promote other candidates using Charlie Kirk's name, image, archived speeches, and political reputation. Commentators argued that if Turning Point USA was truly committed to preserving Charlie's political values, Massie would have been an obvious candidate to support. Instead, they claim, the organization appeared far more interested in backing candidates who were strategically useful to its current leadership and fundraising goals. This has fueled a growing online narrative that Charlie Kirk's political legacy is now being selectively applied depending on who benefits from the endorsement power attached to his name. Critics argue that the organization had no problem placing Charlie's face on campaign materials for lower-profile races and political allies, yet avoided supporting someone Charlie himself had consistently praised for years. That inconsistency has led many online commentators to accuse the current leadership of prioritizing influence, fundraising opportunities, and political alliances over ideological consistency. Supporters, however, argue that organizations evolve after major leadership transitions and that endorsement decisions often involve far more strategic considerations than personal relationships alone. The conversation then shifted again towards Stephen Miller, whose recent public comments about Thomas Massie quickly became another viral point of discussion online. Critics mocked the tone and presentation of Miller's video appearance, describing it as unusually intense and emotionally charged. During the clip, Miller strongly attacked Massie, accusing him of betraying conservative priorities and undermining key immigration policies. The reaction online was immediate, with political commentators dissecting not only the substance of the argument, but also the delivery itself, which many viewers described as stiff, aggressive, and oddly theatrical. Social media users flooded comment sections with reactions, memes, and broader conservative infighting currently unfolding across multiple political factions. What makes all of these moments connect, according to critics, is the growing sense that a major power struggle is quietly taking place inside conservative political media and activist organizations. Between the disputes over endorsements, the handling of Charlie Kirk's legacy, the silence surrounding certain candidates, and the increasingly public attacks between influential conservative figures, many believe the movement is entering a period of internal division unlike anything seen in recent years. While supporters continue defending the organizations involved and dismissing the backlash as exaggerated online drama, critics argue the controversies reveal deeper fractures involving money, influence, loyalty, and control over the future direction of conservative politics in America. The broader controversy surrounding Erika Kirk, Turning Point USA, endorsement politics, and the attacks on Massie all seem to intersect around one central issue: control. Control over messaging, control over political influence, control over fundraising power, and ultimately control over what direction the conservative movement takes moving forward. As more public figures enter the conflict and more clips continue circulating online, the situation has evolved far beyond a single campaign dispute. It now resembles a larger struggle between competing visions of conservatism, with media personalities, activist organizations, donors, and politicians all fighting to shape what comes next. Every Senate Democrat, Hakeem Jeff, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer against President Trump, against the American people, and against you and your family. When the time came to vote for President Trump's signature border security and immigration enforcement bill, the bill to provide record funding for IC and Border Patrol and mass deportation, Tom Massie voted no. Tom Massie voted to kill the bill. Tom Massie sided with the House and Senate Democrats over the sovereignty of this republic. And Tom Massie said we could all pound sand. Here's the detail most people are going to miss. In January, Massie was the only Republican to vote against the Homeland Security funded bill. Miller called him directly beforehand and told him this was the most important vote of his life. Massie told him to pound sand and hung up, and then the bill passed. Trump signed it months ago. Miller posted his little video today about a phone call that didn't go his little Miller _ way months late. Right on schedule. But what's worth paying attention here is to the language. Miller didn't say Massie voted wrong on the spending bill. He said Massie betrayed your children by failing to stop the mass third world invasion of America. Great replacement theory is what Stephen Miller is talking about here with his little ring light. He stopped even trying to pretend like this is any sort of policy. Stephen Little _ Miller is uncloseted in his hatred of anyone who's not a pale white man who looks like he eats mayonnaise every day of his life. And then there's background to this video that most people might miss. The real fuel here is the Schmustein files. Massie teamed up with Democrat Congressman Ro Khanna to force Trump to release documents the White House had been sitting on. Documents Trump had promised his voters he'd release. Massie embarrassed them publicly. And once you understand that piece, Miller's little Millery meltdown makes total sense. Trump doesn't forget. Miller doesn't forget. So on the day of Massie's primary, Miller posted an unhinged video in a very structurally compromised hat to settle his little personal score. Miller thinks he got a win, but we're all just like deeply unsettled by that video. And then somewhere today, Erika Kirk, she's updating the mailers. She's cashing a check. The details here are really strange. We're going to keep digging in here. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's inappropriate for Erika Kirk to be going against her dead husband's wishes and favorite congressmen and elected officials to push her strange Erika Kirky agenda? Does that make you feel some sort of way? Any Erika Kirk stands still here? Any Turning Point USA heads still here who have another perspective to offer? I want to hear from you. Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment. 6 words or more. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. We are always available on YouTube every night, and then Spotify the next morning. We are a daily show, self-funded, all the things. And we do this on pure principle to keep a lead on Katie Miller, the human shield, and Stephen Littlewitch Miller. We'll be back with more.